For all the best boxing content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and punch that bell for notifications.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City, New Jersey, our next bout of the evening is scheduled for 8 rounds of boxing in the light heavyweight division. Your judges scoring this bout at ringside are Barbara Perez, Pierre Benoit, and Robert Grosso. Your referee in charge of the action, Lindsay Page. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the blue trunks with the white trim. He weighed in at 179 pounds. His professional record, 23 wins, 6 losses with 12 wins by way of knockout. He comes from Newark, New Jersey. Here is Marlon, Rumblin Man, HAYES. His opponent fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the black trunks with the red trim. He weighed in at 173 pounds. His professional record, 28 wins, 1 loss with 18 wins by way of knockout. He comes from Magdeburg, Germany. Here is Robert Stieglitz. 8 rounds of boxing in the light heavyweight division.
All right, gentlemen, I already explained to you what I want. I want a good, clean fight. Touch him up, go back to your corner until I tell you to come out.
Look at the tail of the tape. Not a lot to choose from in terms of the height and etc. However, obviously Hayes a lot older, giving away 10 years in terms of age to Stieglitz.
As you said, he took 4 years off of boxing. He won his first 20 fights. Now that's the good news. The bad news is of those 20 opponents, only 3 had winning records. They took 4 years off between 2002 and 2006 since he's come back. As you mentioned earlier, he has struggled a bit, but he does have that win over William Guthrie, who was a bona fide challenger at one point.
Yeah, and has fought some pretty good opposition. Jaden Codrington, a good fighter. He lost him last time. Elver Mariki, also a pretty good fighter. So some of those losses have come against decent fighters. For Stieglitz, that lost to Alejandro Barrio by knockout his last time, really was a jarring experience for him. He had beaten Barrio before in 2005 and felt he was on pace to get really into the title picture.
And he told us today, he said that it was a learning experience. He said, I came to the United States for that reason. I want to improve not only my boxing skills, I want to improve my reputation. This fight, of course, is being telecast live in Germany tonight, so it's not going to be the kind of a secret to the folks in Germany.
He's a popular figure there. Did a shoot with the German version of GQ there, and he's obviously a good-looking guy who has designs on other careers that his notoriety can bring him.
Hoping to get himself a little bit more known in boxing circles here in the United States. He plans to fight here more.
Hayes has used his jab pretty effectively here in round number 1. Keeps Stieglitz a little bit off balance, and he's cocking that right hand, Hayes. You can see he's really trying to find an opening for that.
Right, there you go. Be prepared at all times.
Pretty sharp jab, actually, from Hayes.
Yeah, it's been that's really the headline, I think, here in round 1. And the other issue for Stieglitz is how much did that knockout to Barrio affect his confidence? You know, he was rolling along, winning all those fights, and then to be surprised. And he admitted it was overconfidence.
Yeah, you know, it speaks to that old adage of you never know how good you're going to be until you lose a fight. Many fighters say that, and some quite honestly get better, and some never get back to the form they had before they lost.
Hayes has controlled this first round with his jab and a little bit of movement, not that much, but enough. Stieglitz having a real hard time getting his punches off. Just has not gotten on track at all offensively.
Well, and I think you pointed it out. The reason is that jab that's been in his face pretty consistently. An effective first round for Hayes. Incidentally, we did get the cards on that first fight, and as you might expect, Alec Verniev was ahead on all cards.
By a point, I guess, huh? So that last round would have been interesting because the point was deducted from Alec Verniev.
Er blockt, er geht jedes Mal runter. Und wenn du ihn hast in der Ecke, geh im rechten Schritt rüber. Rechts rüber, links, rechts. Anboxen, 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 rübergehen, links, rechts. Mehr nicht, du musst lang gucken. Ja? Und dann Punkte, seine linke mal wieder mit der rechten wechseln und links selbst gehen. Mehr nicht. Ja?
Pretty calm corner. Nobody pushing any kind of panic buttons at this point.
Second round.
So here we go, round 2. This fight's scheduled for 8 rounds. Sharp left hand from Stieglitz.
Now he's starting to unload his own punches a little bit. Starts with the jab and came with the right hand. Nobody working on the inside at all.
Now it's been a jab fest.
Let him go.
Crowd getting a little antsy here in Atlantic City. It's a knowledgeable fight crowd here.
Stieglitz trying to use the jab as kind of a rangefinder, and he just, you know, really needs to let his punches go.
Let him go. Let him go. Let him go.
Good body shot by Stieglitz. Your point is well taken. Stieglitz, when he does throw punches, got a little pop.
The movement of Hayes has been a problem for him. Now this round, Stieglitz is probably winning it. Oh, nice straight right hand.
Yeah, one of the first that he's thrown. Hayes' right hand a little bit short.
Let him go. Let him go.
Stieglitz trying to cut off the ring on Hayes, but has just been unable to do that really effectively. Stieglitz was in the top 10 among the super middleweights, but fell with that loss to Barrio, and he'd like to get a win here and hopefully another win to get him back into that situation. Super middleweight division, one that's dominated by Europeans for the most part. Joe Calzaghe and Mikhail Kessler, two of they're fighting as light heavyweights tonight, but for the most part, he campaigns as a super middleweight, and it's a division that the European fighters have controlled.
Well, Hayes, as a matter of fact, in his last fight, fought at 190 pounds. Much better round for Stieglitz.
You're reaching now. You don't have to reach. You don't have to reach. All right? Give me some basketball. You don't have to reach. I'm running. He wants you to hold your ground. He wants you to fight this one. But all you got to do is hold your ground just a little bit. Just hold your ground just a little bit. All right? All right?
Robert Stieglitz landing that nice straight right hand, and Marlon Hayes beckoning him, saying, come on in, but nevertheless, that right hand was very effective for Stieglitz. Over a kind of a lazy jab that Hayes didn't get back in time.
Well, a few times he's thrown that right hand. He hasn't thrown it very much at all. Neither man has thrown his too much in the way of power punches. Round 3.
Stieglitz coming out a little bit more aggressively here early in this round.
Yeah, trying to get himself more into range, closing the gap between himself and Hayes now.
There are comments to Hayes in between the rounds. Obviously, they don't want their man to get in a firefight with Stieglitz. But he does have to throw punches, and that's what he's doing now, Hayes. He's just being, more active.
And when he does throw that jab, he's effective, and he can keep Stieglitz off him. The only time Stieglitz gets on him is when he stops throwing punches, as you said.
Well, anybody looking at this fight, whether Marlon Hayes wins it or doesn't win it, they now have the blueprint to fight Stieglitz, and that is give him enough movement, use the jab, and make that a staple of your attack.
When Hayes is doing this, he's effective. And he is scoring points with the jab. Now here's where he doesn't want to be.
Nice hook on the inside by Stieglitz. And you're right, Gary. That's exactly where he doesn't want to be. Stieglitz using the uppercut a moment ago. That's a good punch when Hayes kind of dips in like that.
Yeah. Now Hayes talking about being cut behind the head. It's an ongoing theme, Lindsey Page.
Yeah, apparently. Page giving a warning to Hayes for using his head.
Good right hand again by Stieglitz.
And finally, a solid jab by Stieglitz. That punch really underused.
And again, this is not where Hayes wants to be. Double left hand. Stieglitz, Hayes says, give me a little more of that. Stieglitz obliges.
Stieglitz has maybe taken this round with these flurries, even though Hayes did very, very well in the early part of the round with the jab. With just under a minute left to go, Stieglitz has turned this round to his favor right now anyway. You can tell Marlon Hayes is the epitome of a crafty veteran. I mean, he just has all kinds of moves and tricks in there. So he is the kind of fighter you want to fight at some point in your career just because the experience will help you. You just don't want to end up having a loss.
No, that's right. He's been an effective opponent tonight. He's in this fight right now.
You're fucking reaching a little too much.
In the corner now of Marlon Hayes.
Nur stehen und reingehen.
And now into the corner of Stieglitz.
Kannst du mit einem Doppeljab machen, rechte Cross, und wenn du den nur als Andeutung nimmst, dann ziehst du den linken Aufwärtshaken in die Mitte hoch. Hier, rechts, links. Ja, wie eine Pratzen. Ruhig. Es bringt nichts, wenn du hinterherläufst und da Sachen willst. Ja? Wenn er ansetzt, geh einen Schritt raus, nachgehen. Dann nimm mal einen Doppeljab an. Einfach mal gucken,
tonight
wie der
heavier than he's ever
Doppelljab,
fought by
rechts,
about
links.
3 pounds.
Von unten. Der hängt jedes Mal hier, also musst du von unten rein.
Yeah, he ultimately wants to campaign in the super middleweight division where he can probably be more effective.
He's giving away 8 pounds tonight to Hayes. Nothing, of course, like our main event, in which Ibragimov will give away 52. Sharp left hand by Stieglitz. And every time Hayes steps in like that, he gets cracked.
Well, Stieglitz is kind of holding and hitting. Lindsey Page keeps warning Hayes to give his head up, and that's okay, but, Stieglitz is doing the holding and the hitting as well.
Hayes tried to step in with the right hand that time, was a little short with it. Now he's in Stieglitz's range.
And you know, when he jumps in now, Stieglitz is using the uppercuts and his short left hooks on the inside much better against Hayes, and that's part of the reason why he's been effective.
Dropped an uppercut in there. And you have to wonder why Hayes is just staying in there.
Let him go. Let him go. Let him go.
Stieglitz with a nice right hand on the inside, but Hayes now being a little bit more effective on the inside.
Yes, he is.
So he's turned this in. They both turned this into a more entertaining match right now because they're both wailing away.
No. Let him go. Let him go. Let him go. Punch out of there. Punch out of there. Let him go.
Body shot from Hayes, not a big shot.
Let him go.
He's starting to go downstairs though a little bit, which he didn't do earlier.
No problem. No problem.
That right hand slipped in, not a bad punch. He turned him and hit him with the right hand.
Let him go. Let him go. Punch it.
You know, Robert Stieglitz can't say that in this round Hayes hasn't stayed in punching range for him. So he had his opportunities. Now Hayes moving, but still Stieglitz getting in with a good hook.
Big left hand, yeah. It was half slap, but it definitely had its effect. And in fact, Hayes' legs don't look too good to me right now. He steps in with the right hand.
Early in that round, Robert Stieglitz working effectively with the jab and also some other shots on the inside. And toward the end of the round, this left hook, which as Barry pointed out, had a little bit of a slap to it, but then he followed with another left, got in, and that was a showy punch that probably caught the attention of the judges.
You gotta tighten up. You don't, we got it. Don't drop your right hand. Keep your right hand in the pocket. You're pulling out with your hands down now. All right? All right? I want you to fight this motherfucker, but use your legs, right? Get down, go. I got it.
Well, you got to give it up to Marlon Hayes for he showed up here with an idea that he was going to win the fight. He just didn't show up as a guy who's going to cash a check.
Yeah, he has a plan. The movement and the jab certainly a part of it. Now he's been standing and fighting a little bit more in the last round or so. There might be a little fatigue on the part of Marlon Hayes right now, and you hit on it, Barry. His legs didn't look so great toward the end of the last round. We'll see, but he's still punching away.
Yeah. Not much damage there. Two of those missed.
And, you know, but some of these rounds taking on a repetition because Hayes effective in the first minute and then diminishing a bit as the rounds go on. Even though Hayes has not had great success in recent fights, it's not that he hasn't gone the distance with people. You know, he went 10 with Jaden Codrington. He went 12 with Guthrie and beating him. 8 against in a loss with Danny Santiago. Elver Mariki, who is a light heavyweight who's thought highly of. He lost to him in unanimous decision 8. So he hangs in there.
I said let him go.
Started to push his punches a little bit.
And that left hook especially looked like kind of a bad effort by Hayes.
But so far, Stieglitz has not really been able to take advantage of that. And that jab now has become a pawing jab as opposed to a jab that had some snap in it as it did early.
You know, for a fighter who wants to get center stage in either the super middleweight or light heavyweight division, Robert Stieglitz is not showing the kind of pizzazz that you would think a fighter needs to be in that echelon. He's a little bit slow-handed. He's having a hard time dealing with the movement of Marlon Hayes and a little hard time getting his punches on track.
And you would think, like right here where they are, not now, but where they were a moment ago, you would think he would be able to do some business, and quite honestly, he hasn't.
His accuracy in terms of punching is not as good as it might be, Stieglitz. And the other issue, nice left hook to the body, but Stieglitz slapping with the left hook to the head. But getting things done here at the end of this round.
Yeah, very good finish to that round by Stieglitz. Take a look at the end of that last round, and Stieglitz able to do some business here.
And we look at this in its real time to show you how effective he was and how Lindsey Page came in right at the end, fearing that some punches might be landed. But again, a good ending to the round, not just that part by Stieglitz.
Stieglitz, as we said, from a town of about 200,000 people, Magdeburg. Really not known so much for boxers coming out of there, but team handball, the big sport there.
And you asked,
pretty good game if you watch it at the Olympics.
And you asked the pertinent question, who's more popular, he or the team handball players?
And he said 50-50.
That was a fair answer.
Yeah. He said there's more of them.
Sixth round.
One of the things that he was touting, and some of the German broadcasters were touting, is that they thought his hand speed was pretty good. Well, we really haven't seen that in evidence here tonight. Shown a few good combinations, but not as many as you'd like to see.
And his range, like right there was a perfect example. There was a good right hand. But he's missing a little bit, just a little long, even when he's where you would think what you would think would be punching range.
And probably winning this fight. I have him ahead by a couple of points in this fight.
I do too.
Watch your elbows, watch your elbows.
And certainly having a good round 6.
Head up, head up. Box. Let him go. Let him go. Break.
A triple left hand, and then a couple of power left hands. And now Hayes holds on. I think Hayes, the tank is just a little above E.
Yeah. Yeah, Hayes is starting to fade a little bit. Even his movement is a little more sporadic, and when he can get on his toes and use those jabs, it's effective.
Let him go. Break.
Hayes was just wide open for those shots.
And even though Stieglitz threw a combination, it did land one of those punches. You could see the hesitation there. Can Hayes win this round by doing this for the last 40 seconds and landing jabs? I don't think so. Too much work has been done by Stieglitz leading up to this.
There's a good left hand again by Stieglitz, but he still doesn't really pronate that left hand.
Yeah, the left hook is not a big power weapon for him. Well, they would look at this tape, and Stieglitz and his people will look at it and know one thing. Cutting off the ring was something he could have done a better job of.
Yeah. And, you know, he's a very smart guy. He's a part-time physical education teacher. So, you know, I think he'd probably be pretty good at going to school as well.
Yeah, absolutely. He will study this. About a minute into the round, that good right hand by Robert Stieglitz. He landed some of those in this last round.
I like when you box, you're making a miss. You understand?
And there's the straight right hand.
And you saw what we were talking about with the left hand there, too.
Yeah, exactly. And later on in the round, series of jabs and those kind of pawing left hooks, and there demonstrates what Barry talked about, that he was slapping with that punch, but he certainly landed it.
You gotta get it.
Looks like they're working on a little bit of a cut. Doesn't seem to be very bad up in the left corner of the left eye.
Get that water out.
Round 7. Stieglitz on my cards starting to dominate here.
Yes, he is controlling this fight. I think I have him winning all but one round in this fight.
As do I.
There you go.
Great minds. Huh?
We couldn't possibly be wrong, could we? Oh, maybe. Okay. One thing about Marlon Hayes, and we pointed it out, that he will hang in there in fights, go the distance, do enough certainly to be in the fight during portions of it, and he's done that tonight. But
that was probably the best punch of the fight right there.
Stieglitz is really picking up the steam.
Right, let him go. Good hold. Good hold.
Stieglitz sensing that he might be able to get his man out of there.
Watch out of there. Let him go. Watch out of there. Let him go. Let him go.
Boy, Hayes is making him miss just barely with those right hands.
Bring him up. Watch out of there. Watch out of there, gentlemen. Come on. Watch out of there. Bring him up. Let him go. Break.
Stieglitz doing pretty good work on the inside now.
And Hayes clearly a tired fighter at this point.
You know, Stieglitz needs very badly to work on that left hook. It's a punch that he likes to throw, but he doesn't throw it very well. And he's going to have to tighten it up a lot to compete at the upper echelons of these divisions, whether 168 or 175.
Let him go. Break.
I think for the first time, Stieglitz is showing a little bit of sign of wear and tear in terms of fatigue.
Yeah, I think you could be right.
Let him go. Let him go. Let him go. Punch out of here. Let him go. Let him go.
Hayes is getting some right hands in there, but here comes Stieglitz again.
I think you're right. I think you're looking at two tired fighters right now.
And that creates some interesting intrigue for Stieglitz, because Hayes is letting his hands go a little bit.
Let him go. Let him go. Let him go.
Well, it's going to come down to the final round here. A little bit of a better round for Hayes.
Yeah, it really was.
It's the last round.
How you feel, son? Suck up. You almost got this, man. Okay? Just suck up for me. Okay? That's all I need. Okay? Hit his head.
Du willst jetzt noch mal ein bisschen aufpassen. Lass die Dinger ganz weg. Halt ihn lang.
Robert Stieglitz pressing Marlon Hayes and landing that left hook. And you see what we talked about with the left hook. It's a punch that needs some work because he slaps with it and is not as effective as he might be.
Yeah, he's not set down on it.
Seconds out. That water up.
So this is the 8th and final round.
Come on, touch him up. Touch him up. Last round. No holding, gentlemen. Let's do this. Last round. Come on. Last round.
And both fighters look as though they're willing to let it go here in the final round.
And you know, I'm not suggesting that Marlon Hayes has a chance to get a big knockout here, but I'll tell you what, Stieglitz is a little tired, and Marlon Hayes is willing to throw punches.
Well, he may feel he's taken Stieglitz's best, and he's still there.
Let him go. Let him
A lot of awkward action as well.
No question. And it is Stieglitz that opens up on Hayes.
Let him go. Come. Let him go. Fight.
Now this fight is Stieglitz's to win or lose. He's unquestionably ahead.
Right hand.
There you go.
Stieglitz has landed a lot of good right hands in this fight. None that have really stunned Hayes very much.
There you go. Break.
And you know, Marlon Hayes may have done all he can do in the beginning of this round. Let's see if he has anything left. As he came out with a flourish.
Let him go. Pull out of there. Box out of there. Fight. Let him go.
Yeah. Well, he's still throwing punches with some intention.
Let him go. Box.
Good left hook downstairs by Stieglitz, one of his better body punches of the last 4 or 5 rounds. And heading into the final portion of this round, Stieglitz is kind of in a prevent defense in that for him it's basically about staying upright.
That would be all he would have to do. Just over a minute remaining here in the final round.
Let him go. Let him go. Let him go. Pull your arm out of there.
It's Stieglitz that's holding him there.
Let him go. Let him go. Protect yourself at all times.
We need a third commentator ever. I'd say Lindsey Page could audition for the job. He is one of the most verbal referees I've ever heard.
I was going to say, we have a third commentator.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, of course, you have to force our third commentator, but we mean at ringside.
That's right.
Yeah. Let him go. Watch out. Break. Let's go. Box.
So 10 seconds left in this one. And a good left hand that time. One of the better left hands, actually, from Stieglitz, and that's it. Well, Hayes showed up, tried to give himself the best chance to win.
And I'm sure the folks watching, as you see the folks watching here at the Boardwalk Hall, the folks watching in Germany, this starting to gestate with them and saying, okay, where is Robert Stieglitz at? What do we think of him on a world stage? And I don't know that this fight provided all the answers, but it did provide a couple of questions.
It absolutely did. I mean, this is the guy that, you know, again, I hate to overuse the phrase, but it's a work in progress, and Stieglitz trying to bounce back from his only loss, but there clearly is some work to do.
Yeah, and you wonder, too, you know, he wanted a dramatically good performance to get his confidence right back to where it was. I don't know that he got that, but he may well have gotten himself a W here, or at least I would think he did. And let's say this, too, facing, as we said, a veteran who goes the distance with the people he fights and is very tricky to fight.
And is a much bigger guy than he's normally going to fight.
Yes.
I mean, he came in here, you know, at 179 pounds. Most of the guys that Stieglitz will be seeing are going to be more in the 167, 168 range.
Yeah, or if he does stay at light heavyweight, they'll even be smaller than at least under 175.
Exactly. No, that's right. So, you know, it was a case of coming to a new place, a lot of unfamiliar stuff, and I don't think we're going to issue his report card based on what we saw tonight. Feel pretty confident, however, that he won this fight, and rather decidedly so. I think your card shows pretty much the same as mine. I give the first round to Hayes, and after that, I thought Stieglitz did enough in every round to win. So
yeah,
we await the decision, and here is the decision with Bob Alexander. Bob?
Ladies and gentlemen, from Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City, New Jersey, after 8 rounds of boxing, we go to the scorecards. Judges Barbara Perez and Robert Grasso both score the bout 77-75. Judge Pierre Benoit scores the bout 79-73. Your winner by unanimous decision, Robert Stieglitz.